There was absolutely no way on this earth that I was going to have anything injected into my body that was virtually untested and completely rushed. And millions of people felt like I did, and I feel I've been vindicated. Because I knew something wasn't quite right, and the way the whole thing was dealt with was just completely catastrophic. And I have turned into someone who once took absolutely anything to make me feel better if I was ill, into someone who won't even take a paracetamol now if I've got a headache. The whole thing was just sinister and aggressively pushed, and if you questioned it, you were demonised. If you didn't stand on your doorstep and clap every Thursday for the NHS, some people were ostracised from their own streets. And if you refused to take the jab, you were called an anti-jabber. When you weren't an anti-jabber at all, you were just anti this particular jab. And I watched as members of my indirect family took the jab and subsequently suffered heart problems and even collapsing, and all the while trying to pressure my immediate family into taking the damn thing. And I felt even more completely vindicated when it turns out one of the main manufacturers of the jab have withdrawn it worldwide. And that's because of the serious side effects. Now, I'm not the kind of guy who likes to say I told you so, but I told you so. And for those people who aggressively push the whole damn agenda, shame on you. Both ordinary people and celebrities, some of them really aggressively pushed Soviet-style lockdown conditions. They wanted serious repercussions for people who didn't adhere to the rules, especially those who didn't take the jab. Take Sheila Fogarty, one of the left-wing broadcasters on LBC in London. She wanted to poison anti-jabbers with the stuff in their drinks. Comedian Jimmy Carr, he stood on stage, told people who didn't take the jab to raise their hand up, and then with the same hand slapped themselves on the face. And then there's James Whale on Talk Radio. This guy recently had the MBE, and I don't think I ever heard a broadcaster so aggressively push the whole agenda, especially the jab, and treat people who called in to question him and the whole thing with such utter contempt as the dirt beneath his shoe is shocking. And I don't care that he's on the same political side as me. The fact that he pushed this so aggressively and treated people like crap if they dared question it is beyond contempt, and he should hand back that MBE as far as I'm concerned. And none of them have apologised for it. None of them have admitted that they were wrong, and not even the slightest show of remorse, because people died and people are continuing to suffer because of it. But the worst of all are the television doctors. Now, some of them have deleted their social media accounts because they've been called out, and rightly so. Now, these doctors, they sat on daytime television and they exaggerated the symptoms of the plague and what would happen if you didn't take the jab. And it turns out they were being paid, all of them. They were being paid by the companies who produce the jabs or the test kits, and they were being paid a handsome sum to the tune of thousands, tens of thousands of pounds to sit there on television and convince people to take something which is proven to be dangerous, so dangerous that the manufacturers have removed them from production and distribution, and to practice prevention measures which, even by the end of lockdown, dozens of studies and the government's own data conclusively proved that none of it prevented it. But not only that, but ITV and BBC, they knew these doctors were being paid by these companies, and yet they didn't disclose it to the public. And it's extra shameful for the BBC because it's being paid for through the television licence fee. So they demonstrated yet another lack of transparency there. So, in conclusion, these people should never be forgotten for what they did, especially for their lack of remorse, acknowledging that they were wrong, and their inability to say sorry. And why I believe the World Health Organization should never have jurisdiction over elected governments, and that anyone appearing on television promoting any medical service, it should be disclosed whether they're being paid by them or not. And to this day, I still see people driving around by themselves in their cars and still wearing face masks. So all they've managed to do is scare people to death, ruin businesses, and shame people into taking something that ultimately contributed to their deaths. Shame on them. And if you're one of them, how the hell can you live with yourself? I don't know. And there we go. I'm Paz49. Thanks for listening. And until the next time, Roger Trout.